Yeah,
There's a
I don't know
much better.
what it was with my phone.
Yeah, is it possible you weren't on your Wi-Fi, or maybe you're? Yeah, because that's the difference. Is you're on the same Wi-Fi right now.
Well, let me look if I was on my Wi-Fi. I
Yeah.
usually am.
Maybe you're having crappy cell service or something. Hi, this is Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions. It is 5 after the hour, and we have already started our tech discussions. This is the San Carlos Computer Club. Thank you for coming and spending time with us on Tuesdays at 10. Obviously, I'm still not in person in Tequila's. I'm waiting for Cheryl and Bill to get here, and then they can give me a ride there in the morning. Yeah.
And we and we have a projector that you could
You know, I've got two projectors. Bill, we're gonna mute you because you're echoing through. No, it's not you. Oh yeah, it is you. Okay. Yeah, I've got two projectors that are, but their quality doesn't allow us to take advantage of it unless it's really dark. So I don't know how yours is, but we might find ourselves sitting in the dark if we're using a projector.
Okay, so what's the deal with you at in-person computer club? I guess I missed a couple weeks.
Oh well, what's happened, Linda? Is my car got stolen?
I know that. Did you get it?
No, it's never been seen again. It's
Oh,
gone. It's gone. You know, it's one of those models where it's much more valuable as parts. And so nobody,
right.
I suspect that they just started tearing it apart right after they just stole it and took it to the part guy.
Wow.
We,
Your wife didn't have her purse or anything in there, did she?
no, and it was all locked up, and it was parked out in front of a school in 9 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, that's neither
Wow.
here nor there. What it's done is it's really put a cramp on our lifestyle, though. We're a two-car family since before we had kids. And now the four of us are trying to make one car work because we've got another car out of commission. And the Honda was the car that was running most reliably. And so I've got a minivan that I'm just kind of keeping moving. And Yuya's using that while we're waiting for a repair on her Platina. I mean, all these vehicles are like 20 years old. And we're still trying to come up with a brand new car because that was our long-term goal. It's just been accelerated. We've gone from being picky about what car we were going to buy to we need to buy a car right now because we can't keep paying this gas on this minivan. And what that all translates to is the inconvenience of me getting around San Carlos and being available for the meeting in the morning. And so it's just easier for me to stay right here and do my work from here. And that's what I've been doing while we've been trying to solve this problem. And that's where we're at as far as
Okay.
in-person
Hello,
meetings go.
Judy.
And I haven't gone back to starting the podcast again. I think mostly because nobody seems to notice. Even though I was enjoying it, I've been overwhelmed with other stuff since I've been back, so I don't think I've been that concerned about it. If you guys have showed up without a link to the document, I did stick a bunch of topics in here if you guys are interested. I'll share it again. Judy has her hand up. Go ahead, Judy.
Well, gee, my question was if I could remember now, since my hand has been up for so long, is have you narrowed down your choices of cars?
No, we haven't. And but I have wore my wife down into considering the Nissan. She had no interest in it, but when we keep looking at, actually it wasn't me. It was that she looked around and found that a friend of hers has the same car and somebody she does work with has the same car. So she's been able to spend time in the vehicle. It's just so frustrating shopping at that class of car with the kids. I think I told you the Renault, everything about it's the right price, it's the right kind of deal. but the kids are in the back with their knees around their ears, and it's just not practical for us to consider that kind of vehicle right now. I mean, we probably will if we get done with this process and decide that's the one. We won't let that stop us, but right now that's the one reason we wouldn't get it, is we want to compare it to the other vehicles. The Hyundai has always been top on my list, and the reason is because it's right around the same price. It has a bumper-to-bumper 5-year guarantee. The Renault does not. It also has 5 years on the tires that are sold with it, which I've never heard of until Honda. I think they're Hyundai at this level of car, so I'm pretty impressed by that, given where we live, right? So it's my top choice. None of these showrooms have vehicles in their showroom that are not already sold. Every time they have a car, this is what we found out by the different dealers that we went to, is everything that you see in the showroom has already been sold. There's not enough inventory to keep an unsold car in the showroom. And so we're waiting for Hyundai to contact us. They've followed up with us, assuring us that not this weekend, but next weekend they're going to have cars, and we're going to be able to go in, and we're going to coincide it with picking up Bibiana's quinceanera dress. So, because we've been doing that in Hermosillo. And so we'll be able to go and sit in one and see the space and hopefully start one up. Nobody's got test drives because they won't let you drive a car that's already been sold.
Well, what about looking at a 1-year-old used car and driving it? It's not going to change that much.
The used car market is more expensive.
Not to buy. I know, but not to buy, just to drive.
What do you mean?
So if you can find a 1-year-old Hyundai used that you could drive, not to buy, just to drive.
You don't have to lease it?
No, I mean take it for a test drive.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, I've been looking all over. I can't find one. The Quid, which is the Renault that we were looking at, I finally found one in a Walmart parking lot. The owners weren't there, or I would have picked their brain for it. I was able to take some pictures of it to get some scale of what size it was. But it was the first time I'd seen one in Guaymas. And every time I'm out driving around, I'm looking for these vehicles now. They're just on the tip of my tongue. They're on the edge of my brain, because I want to find somebody with this Hyundai. It's called a Grand i10. If you come across one, let me know, because that would be so much easier than having to go to Hermosillo. But yeah, that's what we're waiting for as far as that goes. I recently checked out the Suzuki. And this is interesting. All of these cars, except for the Hyundai, come with a 3-year warranty to start with. The Nissan as well. And they all offer extended warranties. The Renault had a very cheap additional 2 years, I thought. It was like 7,500 pesos for 2 more years of warranty. That brings it up to 60,000 miles, 100,000 kilometers. But the 3-year, 60,000 kilometer warranty seems to be the standard around here for that class of vehicle. And yeah. Oh,
actually,
the Suzuki.
It's normally 3 years, 60,000 miles.
In Mexico, that doesn't seem to be the case.
Wow.
Yeah, in Mexico, it seems to be 3 years, 60,000 kilometers. And the 5-year is 100,000 kilometers, which translates to 60,000 miles. I've only been shopping in this class of vehicle, so it may be different in a different class of vehicle. I could imagine that this kind of car is the kind of car that you're buying for running around town. You're not going on international adventures with it, or at least that's the thought. If you were, they weren't going to cover you after you hit. I mean, you could see somebody putting a lot of mileage on a vehicle like that if they were driving back and forth from Mexico to Canada. And maybe that's why, is they don't want to. I don't know. Anyway, that's where I'm at with the car hunt right now. Oh, I did say I checked out the Suzuki, which is a pretty car, and it's right at the right price point. but it's lacking in certain features that are just like standard on the other cars. Like it's only got 2 airbags. There's some other stuff on that list. I didn't come this morning thinking I would be giving you a lowdown on what we've been going through in our research, so I don't actually have that list in front of me. But I was a little surprised at how it was lacking in certain things that were just kind of standard on the other vehicles. I was shopping the Ford website, and that's in Mexico, at least. That's not a place you get this class of car. Their cheapest car is way over my budget. Well, I've shared a link of topics, and I'm interested in any topics you folks have brought. I was thinking I might see my folks here this morning. I've stuck in how to reset your air tags. Dad has gotten a hold of a set of them, and he wants to use them on his luggage. And we had talked about doing that today. I wonder if they're did we Cheryl started her conversation with me about a time change. That's everywhere, right? Forgive me for living in Sonora, Arizona time zone. Did we just go through daylight savings?
Yes, we did. However, it didn't affect Arizona or us.
Yeah, but it would affect Alaska, and I bet my parents are. Are we behind or ahead now? See how little I pay attention? Fall back.
We're back.
Spring forward, fall back. So, yeah.
We're the same time as Colorado, so I don't know right now. So I don't know what Alaska is.
Same as Washington. So
we're online right now.
It was 9 o'clock in Vegas this morning when we started. So your parents could be, yeah.
Yeah, I bet if we're falling back, they're an hour behind, which would make it even earlier there for them.
Yeah.
Cheryl, how long in Vegas are you?
We're halfway through our 5 weeks.
Oh. Okay.
So, and then Cheryl, you had what were we just talking about this morning that we talked a lot about before we even started? Oh, the Fire Stick. You had mentioned that, and the butterfly video I've put down here under recommendations, so we can talk about that more in a bit. But the Fire Stick, I think if you've got access to a VPN like ExpressVPN, then you're able to get access to whatever it is you'll need to install. I don't think there's anything that you need to particularly be concerned about having installed before you come down. We used to worry about stuff like that with the Roku, which is still kind of true, because if you need to install anything on the Roku in Mexico without a VPN, you need to use a Mexican Roku account. You can't use your US account. And then when you get into a Mexican Roku account, then the catalog is tailored for Mexico, so you can't get at those apps. I put some links to news that I thought that we would find interesting. The first one I've got up here is about Starlink, and most of you probably aware, we've talked about it in the past. This is Elon Musk's satellite internet company that's doing amazing things, providing high-speed up and downloads for people in remote locations, and it's become a bit of a killer app here in San Carlos. I know a half a dozen people that are using it now. Helped my neighbors set it up. It was very easy. Requires very little knowledge. But apparently, they're a victim of their own success. One of the complaints that you find on the internet with Starlink is that it is running out of bandwidth, that people were getting faster. I just realized I got the wrong link in the article. they were getting faster uploads when they first, or uploads and downloads when they first signed up for it than they're getting now. They're watching their download speeds go down. So what it looks like is that Starlink is going to put data caps, just like a cell phone company does. Which is a little disconcerting because the equipment is $500. They did drop the price of it to about half the price monthly. But they've got a new fair use policy that's going to be implemented in the U.S. and in Canada. And it's interesting how this works because they're saying that if you use it outside of priority hours, apparently from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. they're going to impose this data cap. But after 11 p.m. from 11 p.m. till 7 the next morning, it's not subject to these data caps. And it's similar to what AT&T and places like Comcast have done in the past, where when you exceed your bandwidth cap, then they're going to dial down your speed. I could not find in this article what speed you were going to go down to, but then you're subject to that speed till the end of the month. Very similar to a cable company or a cell phone company. So they're going to, this is the different part. The different part is that it will be from 11 till 7. It'll be from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. After 11 p.m., you can go back to downloading at the highest speeds available to you. It has something to do with prioritizing traffic. And they don't put you're not a priority after you have exceeded 1 terabyte a month of capacity. They make you a lower priority. So all those others that have not exceeded 1 terabyte get to go before your data. And then if you want to buy more priority access, they're going to charge you 25 cents per gigabyte. I don't know if you do the math in your head real quick, but basically if you wanted twice the data that they're giving you, you would pay an additional $250. Just food for thought if you're considering the satellite company. A terabyte monthly of data is a lot. So there's a small percentage of people that are going to be breaching that usage and then suffering the consequence of it. But I'm sure you would run into that kind of stuff if you got a satellite dish for, say, your small hotel, something like that, a restaurant that you're inviting people into, or maybe you just have a house where you're running 4K video in 4 rooms all the time. Then maybe you'd be getting close to approaching that 1 terabyte. Forgive me if you didn't hear me say earlier, I woke up this morning not feeling all that great. Some sinus. I can't seem to stop coughing, and I'm on medication right now. So my mind's drifting a little bit. Has anybody had a chance to use the Starlink system? Because it's become so mainstream all of a sudden. Anybody gotten on their neighbor's network or had the opportunity to use it? When I helped my neighbor, he was getting 160 megabits a second downloads and 50 megabits a second uploads. And we quite literally set it on the roof on a tripod. It was a quad pod, I guess, a stand, and ran a cable down through a window. And all of a sudden he was getting these speeds. Well, everybody's silent, and that tells me nobody found that interesting. What else do I have that's interesting? What about this drone they hacked together that they say can see through walls? This is a really interesting example of pulling technologies together. Hackers in the do-it-yourself kind of community have as proof of concept, they took a $50 drone and attached, I think it was a Raspberry Pi or something similar, that they're using for finding Wi-Fi signals in an area, in a local area, and using that protocol to triangulate the location of every Wi-Fi connected device in a house. So essentially you could fly this drone over and around a habitation and determine where each Wi-Fi device is located in the house. Most of us, that would locate us. You would find me sitting on the couch with my phone in hand next to my wife with her phone in hand. My kids in their rooms with their laptops in their laps. It's pretty crazy that they would be able to put together a device that's so sci-fi, just ad hoc, off-the-shelf components, using our standard Wi-Fi protocol as the way to triangulate. It's all proof of concept right now. It's not out there in the wild yet, but it's an interesting thing to speculate on. I suspect that this research will branch a whole nother area of security concern and policies and protocols, so that this isn't as easy as they're able to make it. It might actually indicate the beginning of the next Wi-Fi protocol. I don't think the Wi-Fi protocol has ever been used like this. I think that's the reason this is news, is that the Wi-Fi protocol wasn't necessarily intended to be used like this. They've just figured out a way to use this to help them figure out where something is geographically located. They call it Y-peep. Well, you guys are making me feel like I've got really boring topics. Does anybody have a topic out there they want to follow? Hey, there's my Pop. Good morning, Pop. If anybody's talking to me, I can't hear them.
I'll talk to you.
Oh, thank you, Cheryl.
That Starlink that you were talking about, you said a small hotel. Well, our son has 3 teenagers and him and his wife. And when they got the Starlink, all of a sudden they were able to do all kinds of things. Haven't checked with them lately to see if this has affected, their speeds or anything. But I know that it was a cat's meow when it came in. So they, during COVID, when the kids were at home and doing homeschooling, they had the worst internet. It was a terrible, terrible experience. So they swear by the Starlink, and I'll have to check with them to see how this has affected it.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know. That's a family of 4. It would be interesting to know how much internet they think they're using. I know my folks.
Family of 5.
Family of 5, yeah. I know that my
teenagers.
my folks, the 2 of them, just using internet for TV and their regular internet behaviors, they were up around 500,000 gigabytes a month. And when we turned on the bed and breakfast, we immediately exceeded their plan twice, and finally just bought the plan that gave us unlimited. And it's really a bit deceptive the way these internet companies work, because they give you, like we went to that unlimited, all of a sudden they doubled our bandwidth we didn't need, because we were already up at like 160 megabits a second. But the moment that we bought the unlimited, then we could download up to like 280 megabits a second. But we didn't need that much speed. In fact, what that speed does is it just allows you to use internet faster, like use it up faster. I guess that's why they associate it with the unlimited. Judy, I see your hand up. What would you like to contribute?
I was just going to tell you, I did a speed test on my fiber optics, and I get 50 and 18.
That's very reasonable speeds, especially
It is very reasonable.
especially for you. You've got more internet than you know what to do with.
Definitely, it's fine for me.
Yeah.
And it also, even though it's in my office downstairs, it works upstairs too, with no boosts or anything.
That's awesome. I have been solving that problem for customers since I've been back, and I keep recommending the same Deco M5. I think Bill and Cheryl have it in Canada, and I've set it up for different people around town here as well as myself. And it's been just so much fun to get feedback from them. They're like, oh my gosh, I've got internet everywhere. It is exactly what I wanted. And that M5 isn't new equipment. It's still Wi-Fi 5 before they decided to name them Wi-Fi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're up to 6, Wi-Fi 6, and so this is Wi-Fi 5. The M5 Deco, it doesn't offer in its package of 3 routers as much range coverage as their newer products, but their newer products immediately jump like $100. And so this Deco 5's got this really nice price point where it sits in the market down here, where it's easily available, it's reasonably priced, and it covers everything it needs to cover. So I've been very happy.
So do you have a recommendation whether I should update my iPad to 16?
I have not done it yet. In fact, I haven't done the 15 update. This is just for lack of organization. I've got. I did that. They just had another big point release come out. Damn it, where is it? It should be right in front of me. There it is. Checking for update. Yeah, 15.7.1. I have not installed that yet.
I put 15.7.1 on my iPhone, and I'm very, very, very pleased to say that it went smoothly. I backed up just before, I had it plugged in, I had it all connected to Wi-Fi, and my old 6S took 15.7.1 just fine. So
that's awesome.
Fun. And
that's
now on my iPad, on the iPad I see this morning that it says 15.7.1 is available, but also 16 is available. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go all the way to 16 or if I'm thinking we would do the iPad today.
I did the 15.7.1 and had no issues, but my specific question was about 16. So
yeah, are we at 16.1 yet? I thought I saw something that said that we were.
Not on software update available page.
I'm looking for it right now. October 24th, iOS 16.1. And the reason I knew that was available is because they had held off making it available on iPad until just recently. So this was the end of last month. Just a little less than 2 weeks ago, it became available.
I may continue to wait a little bit longer then.
Gosh, I wish I could tell you why I'm holding off. I can't remember, but there was a couple of different things. I think battery was in there, and multitasking.
Because it's your rule. That is your rule, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I checked on my iPad this morning, it's iPad OS 16, and then when you hit the more arrow, it's 16.1. So it is 16.1 that's available, and Mail. Mail has new inbox and compose tool. Safari added shared tab groups.
You want to hear something interesting? I've gone into my phone to see my updates. It's 15.7.1 that's available, but I don't have 16 available any longer. I wonder if I have to update to 15. 16 was available. Let me make that clear. It's an iPhone 11 and 16 was available on it, and I kept choosing 15. And now this last one is the only thing that's available. And so I wonder if I have to update to this before I can get to 16, if I even want to go to 16 at this point.
Well, mine says I'm available for 16.1
But you're at
on the iPad, not on the
15.7
phone.
right now, right?
Nope, iPad is still on 15. It says 15.7.1 is available, and
Oh, that's weird.
so is 16.
That's weird. Because I've had 16 available to me all along until just now. And there is nothing to scroll down to. It's just not there anymore. Weird. Weird. But there is, I think we had a couple weeks back, we were talking about the same topic, and we found an article that talked about a half a dozen ways to push the 16 update if it's not showing up. Apparently it is an issue. I'm looking at messages from Dad here. We could look at this right now if you want, Pop. I mean, we're just in random flow, right? Are you still there? Oh, maybe he's taken off. Well, are there any other questions or interests? I've got other articles.
That article that you were mentioning about the drone that they created, when you use the term, they can see where you are in the house. They just get like the opinion you. They don't actually video you. They can see you.
No, I mean the point is it's those first tentacles, because what they do know is they know exactly where your device is located. So then everything, everything from that is just an abstraction layer, right? Like you could, you know where to point the camera now to find you. You know where to map where you are in the house. You're able to follow that point around in the house. That's the way I kind of look at it. Is it's the very first. It's those, like just they've hooked on. And now you can use that information. And it's pinpointing devices. Kind of like what Dad wants to do with AirTags. Hello, Pop.
Hi, you ready for me?
Yeah. And this hopefully won't take longer than the next 10 minutes. So about the time we're done, we're probably going to be switching over to the other meeting. But you had told me that you had gotten these AirTags. I think you got 4 of them. For like $100, and you were concerned you already screwed them up.
Yes.
So I'm not sure how you think you already screwed them up, but we should just see if you can see them to begin with. And to do that, you'd go into the Find My app on your Apple device, your phone or tablet.
Okay.
And I don't know how yours is looking. Mine comes up, because I've got 4 tags already configured. It comes up with the list of items at the bottom. And it shows me each one of my tags. Oops. Sorry, switch cameras. Didn't mean to do that. That's what happens when you don't have producers around here. You're doing it all yourself. So at the top is a geographic map of where the tags are located, and at the bottom is a list of all your tags you can scroll through. So are you seeing any tags on your screen?
Well, wait a minute. I haven't gotten this app yet. So you tell me I have to get the Find My AirPods app, right?
No, just Find My is the app, and it's typically installed in your phone to begin with.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's part of the Apple operating system. I don't know if you can actually delete it.
Okay, so
it's called Find My. Find My. It's used for all your Apple products. You use Find My to figure out where
Oh.
your iPhone is or where your laptop
Okay, I
is.
got it.
All right.
I found it.
And on your screen at the top, you should see a map. And at the bottom or halfway down, you should see a list of your tags, whichever one's got configured correctly.
I have one that says Terry's luggage,
All right.
but
So-
I'm not sure which one it is anymore.
Well, that's okay. You can tap on that in the list below. Is that right? Let me see. Yeah, you can tap on it, and then it'll open up properties about that tag, and one of them is a purple button that says play sound.
Oh, okay.
And if you play sound, that tag will start playing, start chirping at you. Oh, wherever it is, it's nearby.
Where are you? Oh,
These tags are very cool if you're running the latest operating system. I think since iPhone 12 or 13.
okay. I
You
got
can
that
actually-
one figured out.
You can actually follow that tag. So say it's somewhere in your house with the newer equipment, newer operating system, it'll actually tell you how many feet away from the tag you are.
Okay. Now, how do we set up the others then? I felt like this one I set up accidentally, and the rest I haven't been able to set up.
That's probably a promo for Apple. Is it just worked even accidentally? So do you have no other tags in that list? So that's the only one that's gotten set up?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, the other three, did you attempt to? You pulled the plastic out and let the battery start?
Yeah, I've done that on all but one.
All but one. Okay, I think what you're going to have to do is reset those.
Yeah.
And so I put a link to how to reset your AirTags, but it's fairly simple. The AirTag is a sphere, and you just not a sphere. What am I trying to say? It's a disc, and you just need to turn the silver portion of that disc, which will unlock the battery and disconnect the battery, and that will reset the tag. Let me. I'm gonna put this.
And what
article.
what am I doing with it?
So what you would do is I'm going to read verbatim what it says here. Press down on the polished stainless steel battery cover of your AirTag and rotate counterclockwise until the cover stops rotating.
The cover stops rotating.
Yeah.
Oh.
Remove
Okay,
the
I'm
cover and the battery. Replace the battery. So what you're basically, this is like the on and off switch. You're just turning it off, waiting 10 seconds, turning it back on. Press down on the battery until you hear a sound. This sound means the battery is connected.
The silver is up or down?
I don't know what that means.
Well, I'm looking at an Apple,
The silver
Apple...
is what you were rotating. That's the battery cover, is the silver.
Okay.
Did you get the battery out?
I don't know. Let's see. Proceed to the route. It's got our address here.
Well, we should be just working with the tag right now. Did you get the battery out of it?
You mean physically take it out?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Unless you think that tag's in your list of tags. You made it sound like you only had the one tag.
I just have the one tag that I did correctly. I think I've got the one that I haven't opened up yet. I haven't pulled the seal off.
Right, but we're concerned with the two that you don't think you did correctly, and they're not appearing in Find My, are they?
No, and you're saying I can pull this silver off of it?
Okay, I'm going to read it again, Pop. Press down on the polished stainless steel battery cover of your iTag and rotate counterclockwise until the cover stops rotating. So look at my camera. You're gonna take that device and you're gonna pinch it, and then the stainless steel side you're gonna rotate, and it's gonna pop open, and a battery's gonna come out.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Can you hold it up to your camera so we can see what you're doing? No, maybe not.
I don't know. Where's the camera?
I don't know. We can. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that stainless steel side, you would put pressure on that, you'd push down on that, and you'd rotate it counterclockwise. And then you'll hit a point where it won't rotate anymore. It's rotating, right?
Yeah, I got it out.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, then you just give it a couple of seconds, put it back in. It says replace the battery, press down on the battery until you hear a sound. The sound means the battery is connected. When the sound finishes, repeat the process, oh my gosh, 4 more times. Oh my gosh, I didn't read this far into the instructions. You got to do this 4 times to completely reset it. I'd say first off, just what's your phone do when you put the battery back in?
I haven't got it in yet.
I heard the sound though. Now, if you have an iPhone nearby, it should be finding that tag.
Well, it is, but
It is? You can see it on your phone?
right now it's just saying wondering which way to walk.
Huh?
I don't know. I'm just struggling with getting this back together again.
It sounded like you could just press it together. Don't I have one of these? I got one of these nearby. Let me see here. Because you got to be able to change the batteries in these. I don't think the batteries are good over 6 months or so. All right, I got one right here. Oh, I got it to come undone.
1 minute.
Oh, we're running out of time, so I got the battery back off. Pull the battery out, give it a second, put it back in. We'll meet you on the other side. I will start up the other meeting in just a second. Oh, there we go. It's
Good morning, Jim Cunningham. Did you not change your clock, or you did change your clock?
Okay, I finally got it back together.
okay.
And
I think you may have to do that 4 more times. If you didn't get it set up correctly the first time, I think you're in the process of resetting this AirTag. And what it says is that activity you just did, when you put it back together, you should hear a tone. You should hear some Apple sound. You repeat these steps 4 more times, removing and replacing the battery, and then pressing down on the battery until you hear a sound. You should hear a sound each time you press on the battery for a total of 5 sounds. The 5th sound is different from the previous 4. This indicates that the AirTag is now ready to pair. So I don't think you have to reinstall it 4 times. I think you have to put the battery in. You got to take the battery and you got to stick it in. And I think you got to press down on this until you hear the sound. And then I think you pull it out and you put it in again and you listen for the sound again. I don't know why I don't hear sound on mine. I heard it on yours, but I don't hear it on mine. And mine is still paired. When I take the battery out and stick it back in. Yeah, it's still talking to my device. So that's good to know too, because changing the battery shouldn't be a pain in the ass. Yeah. Morning, Chester. Sorry we didn't send out a notification about a change in daylight savings. I guess I wasn't paying any attention.
Well, I'm in Arizona, so I don't have any problem.
Oh, okay. Oh, you were just avoiding us.
No, Chester was there before, but Jim Cunningham was the one that came on right at the end.
Oh, and we're missing him now.
Yeah, and I've just sent him the new meet code because I don't know if he's been on since we've been using the other one. So
I did send out an email after you mentioned you hadn't gotten one this morning, so it should be in his inbox.
Yeah.
How you doing over there, Pop? Is all that making sense?
Well, I wanted you to take a look at this. See if you can see it.
Ooh, I can't. Your background image is all I can see for some reason. You might have to turn off your horses.
Yeah.
I think you're too close.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, he hung up. He tried to turn off the background and he turned himself.
Well, here comes Jim. Hello, Jim.
Good morning, everybody.
Sorry we didn't send out any kind of announcement about a time change. I'm assuming you got caught up in that.
No, actually, we just had problems here all morning.
Oh.
This is the first I've been able to log on.
All right.
Stuff and nonsense.
Well, we've been helping my father with air tags most recently. You know, the tags that we were using for luggage so you can keep track of your luggage with your phone? He went to set them up and just didn't have much luck with two of them. And so we were going through how to reset your air tags.
Good.
Which I'm glad mine are working because it doesn't seem to be following the documentation. I'm supposed to hear a sound when I connect it. I don't.
So Scott, what I was trying to show you is I've got something that says items and it says Terry's backpack. I didn't realize at the time I could be identifying a label for these. Then it says Terry's luggage. So I've got 3 of those. So maybe all 3 of those are already programmed.
Yep, that's what it sounds like. You have accidentally set it up correctly.
With you. Okay,
all you need to do now is identify which is which and put them in the right bag.
Okay. So I'm ready to do the last one then.
Okay, well, it should be as easy as hold it up to your camera because there should be plastic around it. It comes with plastic around it. Let everybody see your plastic.
Oh. I don't know. Where am I?
Just, there you go. Okay, so see that pull tab there? You just, when you pull that off, and you pull it out, it separates from the battery and allows the battery to make contact. And at that moment, it's activating the device. So when you pull that plastic out, it becomes active. And the moment it becomes active, it should pop up on the screen of your phone.
Okay.
Do you see that?
It isn't showing up yet. Oh, there it is. Okay.
And then you'd click on that and just follow through the setup. And that one will be ready to go.
Okay.
Then you can use the Find My app. Like I was thinking about repurposing these. I use them for luggage on the way here, but we're not doing any international traveling. And so I I've gone into the Find My app and I've identified the tags, and I have moved one to my laptop bag, and I renamed that Scott's laptop. I moved one to my other tech bag, and so I renamed it the tech bag. And I've got a pack of USBs that I carry around when I'm doing work. Very convenient, but very easy to leave on somebody's desk. And so I put a tracker in this. This is what I like to show up with if I'm helping somebody with their computer. I've got all different operating systems and tools in this pack. I would hate to lose this pack, but you can see how conveniently sized it is. It'd be very easy to just forget at somebody's house. So I stuck a tag in this so that if I walk out the door, my phone is going, hey, what about your USB? What about your... In fact, I did it the other day with my laptop. I had stuck it in my laptop bag and I left it sitting by the door. And I walked out of the place and I was almost to the car and my phone was ringing at me. Hey, what about your laptop bag?
Cool.
I love everything about this technology except the batteries need to be replaced. Unfortunately, those seem like very easy things to do, but we haven't reached a point where there's a technology like this where we don't have to worry about things like replacing batteries. It seems like if you get these, you want to use them for a trip, the very first time you do it, it's going to be great. But then 6 months down the line, I guess part of getting ready to use them on a trip is making sure they've all got good batteries in them. And that prompts my latest Google search: how long do AirTag batteries last? Which obviously somebody else has asked because it's suggested search. Oh, I'm wrong. A year. The AirTag is designed to keep going more than a year on a standard battery. So that is less inconvenient than the previous trackers that I was using.
But they all seem to be working.
Paul says he's bumped off the meeting.
Thank you, Scott. I think I've got them all working now.
Awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate your help.
Well, I figured it had to be something about just the understanding of how they work more than the setup, because as you can see, the setup's so easy. You did it by accident on 3 of them.
That is correct. Well, I like the way you said you labeled them and got a picture and all. I was trying to figure out how to do that, and I just screwed all that up. But anyway, good to know. But we're busy packing now. We're going to leave here pretty soon. So thank you very much. And I'll just say goodbye to everybody, and maybe we'll see you. We're coming down to Mexico for the quinceanera, so we may see
Awesome.
some of you folks down there.
Where are you guys right now? Are
Okay,
you still in
Terry,
Alaska
safe
right now?
Yeah, we're leaving here at 2.
Oh,
We're
today
going
you
into
fly.
Portland. We're going to spend 3 days there.
All right.
Got to go see the grandniece, and then we'll get in Mesa the 11th, the evening of the 11th. So
Well,
we
awesome.
plan on coming your way December 15th, I think.
Well, that's great. We'll have to make some plans while you're in Mesa.
Yeah, sure. And Ryan is coming down with us for the quinceanera.
Oh, that's what we were hoping. It sounded that way. I think Yuya's been looking for a place for you guys to rent that has enough bedrooms.
We spent the weekend with her, and she seems like a changed girl, so we're really enjoying her.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'll want to catch up on that too, but we'll do that at another time, not in this public forum.
All right. I'm going to
All
tell
right.
you and everybody else goodbye. Thanks for your help.
Love you guys. Have a good
Bye
trip. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Love you too.
Well, that was great. I'm glad I could help Dad with that. I didn't realize he needed that solved today, so that worked out real well. Jim, have you brought any topics to today's meeting? I've sent out my regular document of topics. We've gone through a couple so far.
Sadly, no, but I was having a hard time getting this thing open. My computer just did a software download, and now I can't get Outlook open. Okay, wait a minute. Now it looks like it's finally doing so. Forget what I just said.
Okay. I think one of the most infuriating things that I've experienced over the last 10 years or so is this constant updating and changing of the operating system. And it feels like this stuff is happening in the background, and before it was very obvious when it was happening. And now it's not that obvious. You just end up with a computer that's not performing the way you were expecting it to perform. Something takes a little longer to open up than you thought, like it's caused you to click on it again and again. And it seems to be during these update processes that like the update process just must be a massive thing on the computer at times. And it really puts weight on the system that you're not accustomed to experiencing from previous ways that we used to use the computer. I know on my Mac computer, it's very obvious what's going on. I set it so that I have to download it. I'm aware of it downloading. I'm aware of it when it installs. But the Windows stuff is a little bit more nuanced than all that. You have a lot less control over when that's happening and how it happens. If you could blame it on updates, then at the very least what you could do is you could set active hours to your computer. If anybody hasn't heard of that on Windows 10 and Windows 11, active hours are what you set to tell your computer when not to bother you. And so you set your active hours, and then it's outside of active hours it'll deal with things like updates. And so you won't have that experience where this isn't opening as fast as it was yesterday, caused by the update system. Well, what else I got on my list here? There's a touchy-feely story about electric cars. It's from Business Insider. I think that's the only reason I took it kind of seriously, is because it's from Business Insider. But there's these futurists proclaiming that it could be that electric cars, instead of being a drain on the grid, they could be supplementing the grid and making it stronger and more powerful. Which, as I read through the article, I could wrap my head around that idea. I could see as electric cars become more and more prolific throughout our cultures, our communities, that if we had a tragedy like a hurricane that took out local power, then maybe you could be designing a grid so that those cars could be powering into it to make sure electricity stays up, or supplement electricity when it's missing, or provide electricity at times when electricity is more expensive and charge itself when it's less expensive. I can wrap my head around those kinds of ideas. I like that idea a lot, like the power wall. Instead of having the power wall, you just have the car, right? And you've got times of the day when your car is just sitting there and it's got a full battery. I see Bill's raising his hand. Thank you, Bill. I can't do all the talking. What do you got going on?
Yeah. Just as a side note about electric cars, one of the casinos that we go to the parking garage in on the one floor, there's a whole set of charging stations for free for electric cars. There's about 8 stations there. So you can drive in, charge your car up, and go in and gamble while you're doing it. Just a thought.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And if you had if you had a peaked out battery, maybe by using a free system like that, if all of a sudden the lights went out, maybe your terms of service are such that your car could provide electricity until that blackout is finished. So that instead of taking from the grid, it's feeding into the grid.
So if they have if they have a power problem, you could come out to your car and can't go anywhere.
Right, right. Well, you gotta really think of the scenarios where this is practical. Like most of the time, maybe if it's sitting at work, but most of the time you need to come out and have your car ready to go. You can't have your car draining to provide electricity. But I'll tell you, if we had a flood, and all of a sudden there was no electricity, it'd sure be nice to have my electric car providing electricity to my house until electricity was restored. That's an option I think you could sell a lot of people on, is this idea that what, you live in Florida, you know, our hurricane season's coming up. There's the pot, but you could build your house. You could build the electrical infrastructure in your house. It wouldn't be that difficult. It'd just be a change to the mains. You'd have a bypass on the mains, and you plug your car into it, and all of a sudden your car is the generator for your house electricity.
So how did your solar system work out? You've had it for about a year now, haven't you?
Yeah, we're coming right up to a year, and it has worked out great. Now, you got to keep in mind that we got a large installation that covered our electric footprint, and half of my family wasn't here during the summer, and then the other half joined us for a month. So there's a lot less electric use in my household during the summer. The typical way that this works out, I was told that you would probably be looking at no more than $75 a month during the summer. Because of the credits that you would build up, it would supplement the usage during the summer, so it would drop and that's an incredible drop. We're paying twice that for electricity, so we were ready for that drop. But to be fair with you, Bill, because our lack of use of electricity during the summer, we've averaged our electrical bills to just service fees, which are just about $5 to $6 a month, no matter what month it is.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thank my parents. I don't know how you do this without it being a gift, but it makes so much sense. For me, I think I've said before, I don't know what I would have done with that money except piss it away. Buying, like we thought about a new car, thought about improvements to the house. But what I'd really like is to be the kind of guy that can take that money, put it somewhere, and have it make money for me. And the solar panels was the only way I saw that. And because of it, we have a budget for how much we can spend on a car payment, because we're just taking what we used to pay in electricity and putting it towards a car payment.
So,
Wow.
compare, taking the cost of the installation, what's your payback period? Before you got it paid off? Knowing full well that there wasn't a payback.
Right. What seems to be a standard in the industry is 7 to 8 years. But as energy prices go up, then that gets a shorter and shorter time period as you have to compare it to your current energy costs. So I haven't talked to Marcos recently, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's well below 7-year payoff, as long as all other things haven't changed. Well, this article is interesting. They go into some of the school buses, the electric school buses, which is probably a perfect example of fortifying the grid, because you'd have these vehicles that are just kind of sitting around not doing anything most of the time, except for twice a day. Well, that article is here if anyone's interested in that. Boy, I'm just doing a whole rundown of what I've brought along.
You're getting an awful lot of these awkward pauses.
Yeah, nobody's interested in what I'm talking about.
I'm interested. I'm always listening.
Hey, I'm looking on here, and Streamio has popped up on my list again, and I just wanted to mention that recently, like in the last 6 months, pardon me, I have had a difficulty getting the torrent sites into Streamio. Oh, hold on one second. this off. A developer of one of those community add-ons, which is very popular for finding content, called Torrentino, has a procedure for adding their add-on to your Streamio. It is no longer being listed in the Streamio community catalog. Whereas before you could go to the community catalog of add-ons and you could find one of these illicit plugins that's doing nefarious things. You can't anymore. However, it's very easy to get it installed in Streamio. There is a website from this developer called torrentino.stream.fun. And if you go to that site, it pulls up this web page if you're looking at my screen. And if you don't want to change anything, you can click this install button at the bottom, and it will move you over to your Streamio client and allow you to install the Torrentino plugin, even though it wasn't listed there in the Streamio community plugins or add-ons. They call them add-ons, right? So in this case, here's the catch now. In this case, I'm doing it in a web browser on a Windows 10 computer. And so when I hit install, it's actually going to bring up the Windows client of Streamio and add it to the Windows client. I'm going to hit it right. Oh, do I even have it on this computer? Maybe I've done this too soon. No, I don't even have Streamio on this computer, so it's not going to install it. But if I had Streamio installed in this computer at this moment, it would generate, it would start up the Streamio application, and it would move me to where I would install plugins, and then it would ask me to confirm installing this plugin. This is the plugin you want. This is the plugin that handles all these different torrent sites. You need this plugin and no other to take full advantage of Streamio. Torrentino.strim.fun invokes this process. Now, the catch, what I was starting to say, is that this is how you do it on Windows 10. What I discovered is if I want to do this on the Fire Stick, it's the same procedure, but you cannot use the Silk browser for it. Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. You can use the Silk browser for it. On the Fire Stick, you would put this link. I just stuck it in our chat. So you would open up your Fire Stick. You'd go over to Internet. You'd stick in that web address with your Fire Stick remote control. You would go to that website. You'd scroll through it. You'd hit install. And it would bring up your installed Streamio client and allow you to install this plugin to your Fire Stick. I remember probably it was last year, Bill, I was helping you with Streamio on your computer, and we were having some goofiness trying to get the plugins to install correctly. And I think I left you with some weird goofy solution to make it work. This would resolve all that. I don't know if you're still using Streamio on Windows or on Linux, but this should.
God, yes.
Yeah.
Use it every day.
All right.
In our current location, it's a little bit trickier because this hotel or this timeshare has a watchdog that looks for torrent use.
Oh.
So if you try to do anything torrent related, they quarantine you for 5 minutes until you turn that off, and you got 5 minutes to turn it back on. But the only way around it is our old buddy ExpressVPN. As soon as I fire that up, it doesn't see it anymore, so I can use Streamio to watch whatever we want. The second problem is this hotel or this timeshare also logs you out after so long of not using something. If it's inactive for an hour, they log you out.
Oh,
So
okay.
You're constantly re-upping the internet, and then making sure you have to make sure you turn your VPN off because it's lost the internet, so it locks up. It's just you really got to keep fooling around. So my solution is to run my little program called Caffeine that keeps sending little keystrokes every 10 seconds or so to up the internet and back, so it looks like you're active. I don't know if you've ever used Caffeine, but
I was thinking,
just basically,
doesn't it make your computer active? Is the internet being active through it just kind of it keeps your computer from falling asleep, right? That's what I thought caffeine did.
But it seems to work. I never thought of that it actually just is keeping the screen awake, basically.
Yeah. I mean, that might be enough. If it doesn't fall asleep, then the network activities that would pop off while it's awake would still pop off. I can think of a really easy way. You could just open a command line and type in pingyahoo.com and just let it roll. pingyahoo.com-t, and it would just continue to ping. Here, I'll do this right now. Ping. I'm going into a command line. I know you like this kind of stuff. Yeah. Oh, and if it's on Windows, you have to add a -t, and if it's on Linux, you don't have to add the -t, because the default on Linux is to continue the ping until you stop it, until you break it, control break it. Whereas Windows default is to ping, I think, like 6 times and then stop. But what I've got is a command line ping, and I'm going to put in yahoo.com. So this is sending traffic out on the internet. It's 4 times. Under Windows, if you did this line on Linux at your command prompt, that would just go and go and go until you command braked it. Control break.
Well, my poor man's solution to this is to just open up YouTube, find some kind of music, generic music thing, and tell it to go, and then turn the volume rate off on it, and it'll sit in the background and stream a little bit of music all the time.
Yeah, you could do that. That's slightly bigger than these data packets if you were hurting for bandwidth.
Yes, that's exactly right. But I also have to do something like we have one Alexa here. View, is it? The one
show.
with the screen.
The show.
Yeah.
The View is the new one, right? I think it's called a View. It's that picture. It's anyway, like that 15-inch screen.
No, this one's a smaller one. It's packable. Anyway, it does the same thing. The internet system here kicks you out after a while, and they just sit there passively, I think. So we do this exact same thing. Load up some music thing, let it run, and turn volume down. That's the only way to get it to stay. Otherwise, you have to reset it every couple hours. So I don't think there's a command line to use on the Amazon system.
Yeah, but you know what you could probably do if you were going to be there for an extended amount of time? I've done this at Timeshare in Pine Top. I'd set up a wireless bridge, authorize it, like a bridge that would bring that Wi-Fi connection to another router in my house, and then I would authorize that, and then have something that would keep it active, and everybody would go through the router there in the house instead of making individual connections to their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But it's just a minor inconvenience. Every once in a while, I look over and I have to log into the system again on certain devices all over the place. I look at my phone and I'm logged out. I look at the laptop, same thing. So, but it's okay if we're going to sit down and watch something on Streamio. You just set it up, make sure you got it set right before you start trying to watch a movie, and it'll run. It's fine. And I brought along, like, we have all kinds of trouble trying to get a Fire Stick to connect it to the TVs in these rooms, in the hotel rooms. Even
Right.
if you got access to the HDMI, a lot of them have the HDMI ports locked out. You can't get at them with the remotes. So
The TVs you're running into, are they fairly recent TV sets?
yeah, well, they look recent. You know, they're LGs or whatever. You know, they're flat screen.
You might look and see if they support casting.
Yeah, yes, they do. Some of them. This one does.
That might end up being your solution in those circumstances, is to cast it from your mobile device or your laptop over to the screen.
Well, we don't care because I got a little projector that I bought basically garage sale for $20. So we hooked the straight into it with the Fire Stick and throw it against a light colored wall, and we have our own large screen TV, and it works every time. We don't have to fight with it.
We're going to set it up in the Bahia house because we have no TV.
Yeah.
It just needs to be a dark area.
We'll come over for movie night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, pardon me.
We even got popcorn.
Hey, talking about all these movies, we should probably wrap up this meeting. You guys got any recommendations? It's just the four of us now.
Yeah, well, Jim and Linda recommended one, and I watched it, and it was From Scratch on Netflix.
From scratch, right.
And
It's a series.
It's a series from
I
scratch.
call that like a mini series, like.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it is a mini series, right?
It's like a
6 or
long
7 episodes.
movie that they broke into. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 4 movies. Like 4 mini movies. So it was good? You liked it?
I did. It was Italy, nice scenery. The story was sad and happy, and so it was kind of like a romance, but dealing with cancer, and all around good show.
I have not heard of it.
And
I'm
I saw
trying
where
to Google it right now.
apparently written by Reese Witherspoon, I believe.
I don't see her name here. You think it was produced by her or something? I don't see her in the lineup.
Could have been produced, but I thought it was written actually. But
written. Let me.
But I have not verified that. I'm not even sure where I heard that.
Did you guys ever watch The Morning Show?
Yes.
I thought that was excellent.
We lost touch with that after season 3. Did it ever continue?
Oh, you know what? I haven't gone to season 3. I just finished season 2. I didn't even realize there was a season 3.
Well, now that I think about it, perhaps we are waiting for season 3. I'm not sure. Let's see what.
I don't see
can
Reese's
find
name
on
on this anywhere from scratch, but that's cool.
I noticed the other day that Departure, which was that series about the people that had been on a plane and they moved to a different time.
Manifest.
Oh, Manifest. That's what it's called. Sorry.
Yeah.
Manifest. And it looks like they've got it set up to be another series.
Another season's coming out? Is that what you're saying?
Did you hear that? You said another season's coming.
That's what I thought I saw.
I enjoyed some of that, but it seemed like it just didn't go anywhere. It just kept going and didn't go anywhere. Well, I have a strange recommendation. I found a clip of Stanley Kubrick explaining the ending of 2001: A Space Odyssey. And I thought people like Bill and Jim would really appreciate it.
He
Yes,
explains
yes.
it.
He
My
explains
goodness.
the ending.
After how many years? 20 years?
Yeah, well, and
No,
it's an old clip too.
oh my.
But he goes into what happened to him at the end. I found it interesting. I thought you guys would appreciate it. And Cheryl provided a link to a video on the Mariposas here in Mexico, which is off of Facebook, and that looks very interesting. That's longer than the Stanley Kubrick clip. I think that was about 15 minutes. We were looking at it before we started this morning. So all that's in the document. I also have been watching Alaska Daily. I mentioned that at the top of the hour. I've really enjoyed it. Being Alaskan, it's really funny watching a show like that. We're really enjoying it. Enjoying the scenery, enjoying seeing places we know. The second episode begins with her running across the moose on my bike trail. She was jogging on my jog. Like it comes on screen and she's running down my bike trail right at my turnaround spot, and she's running into a moose right where you would run into a moose. So it gave me some goosebumps. I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
No. Moose bumps.
Yeah, goosebumps. I was like, no. There's my home.
Not goose, moose.
No, moose bumps. Yeah, that's right, moose bumps.
What I found interesting was that now they've moved on to, we've been in the corruption in the federal government. We've been through the missing Aboriginal women, and now we're getting into Russia and how close it is to Alaska. So very timely topics, and I think portrayed really, really well.
Okay, I gotta say though, when it's not a genuine thing, it is so obviously not a genuine thing from an Alaskan point of view. Like some of the businesses they've visited, the names that they've renamed certain things, is like because our community is so small, there isn't a question of whether that exists or not. It absolutely doesn't exist. It's not like making up a name in LA. Well, that could be a paper I've never heard of. No, that absolutely does not exist. There's never been anything named that before. And they've done a couple of things where they've named something and you know exactly what they're talking about, but they've used their own name for it. And I think Chilkoot Charlie's must have given them free reign because that keeps ending up being clips in the show. Which is, our local meat market. If you're a single, that's a singles place. Been around longer than I have.
Okay,
I thought when you said meat market, like, farmer's market.
No.
That I got it from the single comment.
Yeah. Right.
That's the hookup place. In Anchorage, that's the hookup place.
Anyway, I'm going to go now, but I got two comments. One is good luck to all you Americans on your election, and good luck to us Albertans on our election. We have the new leader of the government is being elected today, I believe, and she's just a goddamn little mini Trumper.
Wonderful.
Yes, wonderful. Exactly. She has all the same keynotes. Just incredible.
We look forward to watching your economy fall apart as quickly as England's did. She's not proposing ridiculous tax breaks for the rich, is she?
Oh God, yes. It's going to defund the medical system, defund the education system, so everything goes privatized. it's all there. It's all the Republican rhetoric, all sitting there.
She is known for the statement when she was first made premier that the unvaccinated are the most discriminated against group of people that she has ever seen. The unvaccinated.
What has happened to our world?
Oh my God. That in the wake of the Aboriginal schools issue in Canada, this is what she's saying.
Yes, and in the Me Too and the Black Lives Matter and all of these things, you know, the Roe versus Wade.
She's bringing one of Trump's wacko medical advisors up here to advise our medical system, our officials in the medical system.
You guys remember when he started assigning people to roles specifically because they were going to break those roles apart? I mean, that's what that sounds like. You're going to bring a Trump official up to teach you how to break apart the medical system.
Exactly. It's your Montana Secretary of the Interior or whatever, who is absolute wacko and anti-environment, everything. It's just a blueprint. It really is.
I gotta say though, I'm a bit hopeful. We did ranked choice voting again. It is a thing in Alaska, and it was amazing. It's an amazing process. Every candidate I voted for, I was able to rank them 1 to 4. Who I would prefer, who I think would be better. If they don't win, who I think should be second. Yeah, right? I really think this is going to make the difference. I love our Congresswoman's approach. She's been vote Alaska, don't vote party, vote Alaska. And I like that message. It gives me real hope for the future. What I'm hoping for is that we can get away from this extreme polarization and get back towards the middle a bit.
Well, like I say, good luck with you guys. Good luck to us.
And good luck to you guys.
Next Tuesday, yes.
And we'll talk to you next Tuesday, Bill, Cheryl, Jim. Tech on.
Thanks for that most recent tip.
Yes.
Take care, you guys.
See you, Jim. Bye-bye. Well, that was it. We did it again. Even though I was a little under the weather, I think we pulled it off. Again, I'm Scott Stimson with International Computer Solutions, and if you're looking for computer help somewhere out there, I can help you remotely. Just contact me, Scott, at internationalcs.net. And if you like what we've done here, well, you'd probably like seeing some of the other stuff we've done. So go to our website at sccclub.org, and you can find links and information about the club and YouTube videos and whatnot that we do each week on Tuesday at 10. Until next Tuesday, tech on.